quicker to the left. A little bit to the left. Nice, back to the right. Is that thing a beauty or what? Huh? Yeah. Back to the right. Looking beautiful. Beautiful.
Diving.
There she goes.
Dad, someone left their stuff.
Probably belonged to that guy.
It's not coming up.
Here, let me try that.
Daddy!
Damn. Well. Huh? Into the job, and the police commissioner ends up as a floater in Central Park. Sometimes I wish I weren't chief of internal affairs.
I gather this is one of them.
Got that right.
I had real hopes for Charlie Stover.
Yeah.
I can't believe he let himself be taken like that. What was he doing in the park alone? A meet that went bad?
He still had his gun and shield.
What about his wallet?
Could have been a mugging.
Meet that went bad that somebody tried to make look like a mugging. Doesn't feel right.
Still, the commissioner falls under the department's jurisdiction, so IA has to look into it.
We're on it already. Gene's looking for his driver, and Aaron went over to question his secretary and check out his office.
Good. The rookie who found Stover kept it off the radio, or else we'd have more reporters here than cops.
Who's covering the homicide end?
Ruggieri.
Himself?
Himself. He thinks Charlie got drunk, fell in the pond.
Ruggieri was never a big fan of affirmative action, let alone Charlie Stover.
The only other things we found were his shoes and his suit jacket at the edge of the pond.
No fibers, nothing obvious except for some swelling along the base of the skull.
It fell, right?
Could have been hit from behind.
I won't know till I get him on the table.
Frank, you know Chief Ruggieri?
Oh, yeah, Chief, how are you?
Chief wants you all downtown on the double. HQ's crawling with reporters.
I'll be with you in a minute.
Hey, Dan! Dan! Give it to me.
Probably happened an hour before midnight, maybe 2.
You think he drowned?
Dead when he hit the water. Severed cervical. Either hit from behind or slid backwards. The concrete coping caught him here.
Well, if he slipped, he would have tried to use his arms to break his fall, right? How'd he slip?
His pants legs were rolled up. Maybe he was wading in the pond, slipped on the slime on the bottom, or for his plots, just lost his balance.
What was he doing in the pond in the middle of the night?
I'm in charge of how. Why is your department, Frank?
Was it drunk? suspect, Walt?
Jim Brannigan, was it a racial attack?
Guys! Chief Drake will make a statement shortly. Just sit tight. Chief Brannigan, one more question, sir! One more question!
You all know our consulting psychiatrist, Dr. Bromberg. Now listen. We got a bad situation here. We need a brief statement that preserves the integrity of the commissioner and respect for the office. That's your department, Jim.
Why not wait for an autopsy, Chief?
Waiting just let the rumors build. I need to buy us some time without making us look like idiots.
It won't fly, Mike. They'll smell it. The man's pant legs were rolled up for a waiting party in Central Park in the middle of the night. He was on a binge and he fell down.
Nick, if it was an accident, liquor's not the only thing could have triggered it.
He had to be drunk or on drugs.
Autopsy might indicate foul play.
You mean the missing wallet? How do we even know he had a wallet? Why didn't they take his gun, too?
Look, we're not going to put out the story that he was mugged. Make it look like the city is so dangerous that not even the police commissioner can go out at night. Chamber of Commerce would kill us.
What was he doing out there without his driver? Who was he meeting? Why?
I only met the commissioner twice, but there are certain things we have to consider. Commissioner Stover and his second wife had a troubling divorce fairly recently. His appointment was less than popular in some quarters.
Yeah, go on, Doctor.
The pressure of being a high public official who inherited corruption scandals in 2 precincts, charges of police brutality.
You saying he flipped his lid?
I am just theorizing.
The sailboat pond?
Simply a regression into a stress-free childhood state.
It's compassionate.
Yeah, well, it's all we got for now. So do the best you can with it, Jim. Now, I want your men, Nick, to do the broad legwork. Check out everybody and anybody who was in the park last night or early this morning. You liaison with Janek, while he and his squad go at it from the departmental angle. He'll handle the media relations. They like him.
Any ideas, Janek? I think it was a homicide. And I think you want to tell people that another black man who was given power screwed up. Face it, Janek, there isn't a white senior officer who'd end up in the park like that. I mean, you know as well as I do.
Easy, Frank.
All right, Janek wants to tell it straight. Let's tell it. I know a dozen career cops who were lined up for that job. Face it, he wasn't up to the job. He got it because of his color.
Charlie and I were rookies in the 6'5". He fed his family, he went to night school. He made law review. He wasn't appointed commissioner because he was as qualified as a white officer. He was appointed because he was the best man for the job.
Come on, Janek.
All right, enough.
Jim, knock out that stuff. Keep it general. I'll feed it to the vultures in the hall.
All right, everybody, go to work.
Janek, you got a problem?
With all due respect, Chief, race relations in the city are rotten. I think to tell the press, even a responsible guy like Walt Payne, that the commissioner was incompetent, I think that's dangerous. I think you're just asking for trouble.
Janek, wrap it up fast.
No problem.
So what'd you dig up here?
His secretary worked with him for 10 years in his law firm, came over with him when he took the new job. He had breakfast with Drake, met with the mayor at 11. Nothing in his book for the evening.
You go through his desk, his files?
Not a thing.
Frank, the driver said the commissioner dismissed him at 6 last night. That he looked preoccupied, but that he'd been that way since day 1.
Yeah. Dave, go down to records. Maybe somebody Stover put away got out recently.
Somebody with a score to settle.
You got it, Frank.
Now, he had to get to the park somehow. Fred, call Ruggieri's office. Tell him I want 20 guys to canvass the cab companies and the car services.
I'm on it. Anything else?
Not for now. Oh, Gene, call the chief surgeon, also his personal physician. See if he underwent any psychiatric consultation.
Think he flipped out?
Do you?
Hey, come on. You know anything's possible?
Yeah, well, maybe that's what somebody wants us to think.
I saw Stover in court a couple of times when he was in private practice. He was in complete control.
Maybe too much control. Maybe he was wrapped too tight.
Hey, Gene, call for you in line 3.
Here, and check out the 2 precincts that were involved in the corruption scandals. See if there's any link to Stover, even indirectly.
Good idea.
If he wasn't black, nobody'd be talking this garbage. I watched him at meetings of the Brotherhood of Black Officers. He was a leader, special. He had it down, Frank.
For years, everything Charlie Stover does commands respect. And then maybe, just maybe, he makes one dumb mistake. His whole life becomes a joke.
Bruno, I'm ready.
Bruno! Get out here now! Call the police. There's somebody in the park.
I'm Lieutenant Frank Janek. I'd like to see Margot Stover.
Deputy Chief Brannigan, Public Information Officer for the department, went on to say that the police will also investigate allegations that the commissioner was under extreme emotional stress at the time.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I'm terribly sorry.
Lieutenant Frank Janek, I didn't mean to intrude.
Come in, please. Homicide?
Internal affairs. I worked with Charlie a long time ago. I know this must be very difficult for you.
Well, I am just a little bit overwhelmed. Would you like some coffee?
No, thank you, thanks.
Please, have a seat. Charlie and I were divorced a little over 2 years ago. I thought I had finally healed. I didn't expect to feel like this.
How do you feel, Mrs. Stover?
I'm hurt. And I'm angry, and I'm very confused. This whole thing has caused me to review my entire relationship with Charlie and watch those buffoons on television as they try to imply that he was drunk or incompetent, having a breakdown. It's disgusting.
Sounds like you, still care.
Well, I always cared. It's just that Charlie was impossible to live with. I mean, I could barely share law practice with that man. But he was tough. And he was honest. He wasn't afraid of anything.
You went a long way.
He always used to say, go as far as you can, as fast as you can. They can't hit a moving target.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
Where were you last night, Mrs. Stover?
I was at a speaking engagement for a group of black professional women.
Till what time?
About 11. And then we all went out for coffee with the chairlady, Marietta Barnes. I'm sure she'll confirm that if you call her. I went home about midnight.
Did Charlie have a will?
Yes. I'm the executrix.
Or were the beneficiaries?
I get 20%, and Martin gets 75%. That's his son. The rest goes to the United Negro College Fund.
How much is involved?
$100,000, $200,000. Charlie was really about power, much more than he was about equity.
Do you know what the death benefit is for a commissioner killed on duty?
No,
About $600,000.
I had no idea.
Well, where is this son of his? Martin?
Martin, he's probably still in Montreal. We spoke about 2 years ago. It wasn't very good.
Oh, you didn't like him?
When Charles divorced his first wife, Maxine, Martin thought that he was dumping her because of me. Because I was more presentable, more middle class. You know, better for his career.
Were you?
Maybe. You see, I met Charlie in law school. I was just a kid. He was my study partner. He was the most mature person around.
Why is Martin living in Canada?
Because he and his father locked horns about everything. Civil rights, Vietnam. Martin thought that war was a white man's war.
Sounds like you had your hands full.
Martin blamed his father for everything. And then he just took off.
What's he do for a living up there?
He's a jazz saxophonist. He made one album of his own. Charlie really wanted him to go to Juilliard. He really did. Because the kid has talent.
Can you show me Charlie's office?
Of course.
Charlie had a lot of souvenirs, huh?
Yeah, he really loved being a cop.
Did he ever tell you why he turned his badge in?
No, he never really wanted to talk about it. And all I could do was be there. If you've ever been married, you know about those times when that's all you can do.
I tried it. I got an A for effort, but I failed the course. Occupational hazard.
Hello? Yes, it's for you.
Yeah, Janek. Huh? I'm on my way. Something's come up. I've got some more questions that need answers. I'll need to talk to you again.
I'll be around.
Thanks.
Janek, you do the right thing by Charlie Stover.
What's up?
Unidentified male, about 50, found dead in his Fruit of the Looms.
How's it tie in?
Don't know yet. Lugash called us, we called you. Said the cause of death was the same as Stover's.
What's the guy doing in the garden in his underwear?
It's like the old joke. You know the 3 worst words a woman can hear while making love? Darling, I'm home.
So what are you saying? Guy panics, runs to his windowsill, takes a crash dive. So where's his clothes? Upstairs in a closet somewhere?
They'd be gone before we ever got a warrant.
Exactly.
What about the owners of the apartment?
Emma and Bruno Sanders. Very athletic little duo. Own a chain of health food stores. He was in Boston at a convention, drove home late last night. She was here alone. Top floor's rented by a ballerina. She's at rehearsal.
You think Mrs. Sanders was fooling around on the side?
Only one way to find out. Excuse me, Emma and Bruno Sanders, Lieutenant Frank Janek, Internal Affairs.
Miss Sanders.
Yes, sir.
Hi there, Miss Sanders. The sergeant tells me that you returned from Boston late last night.
Yeah, I kind of lucked out. Traffic was light, and I got in around 1 a.m.
And did you see or hear anything unusual?
No.
How come you drove back so late? I mean, after spending a full day at a convention like that, huh?
I was supposed to stay over, but I got bored. Besides, Lieutenant, I'm the kind of guy who doesn't like to stay away from his wife too long.
So you came home unexpectedly.
I suppose. So?
I see where this is going, Bruno. The dead man. They wonder if he'd been here with me doing it.
Well, I wouldn't exactly put it that way.
Look, Lieutenant Janek, you can put it any way you want. Tell him, honey. If you got a husband that look like this, don't you fool around with that little guy in our garden.
Hey, sometimes little people can be very energetic.
This one died same time as Stover. Similar contusions to the back of the neck.
And we don't know who he is.
Odds are he fell from a window onto a hard surface, broke his neck when he hit.
Are you telling me the 2 men fell and snapped their necks within an hour of each other? It's a good thing you don't work in Vegas. You'd go broke.
NG on the cab company so far. I've got him checking taxi trip sheets. It's a long shot.
Any trouble with Ruggieri?
He's a good politician. Sweet as a lamb.
One of Stover's convictions got out last week, Johnny Lapone.
What did he put him away for?
Narcotics, 7.5 to 15. Wonderful guy.
Janek,
Check it out.
I appreciate how you feel about it. Thanks for your help. The chief surgeon gave Stover an extensive checkup 2 weeks ago. Said he had a heart like a 20-year-old.
What about that corruption thing?
Ancient history, Frank. The whole thing happened before Stover came in.
Looks like we're shooting blanks.
Yeah, well, we better start filling some of them in.
Got a second, Frank?
Oh, yeah, sure, John. Yeah, come on in.
Ruggieri says you're way out of line. Some corpse in a garden?
Lugash called us.
Well, what's the connection?
Same cause of death.
You're getting a lot of pressure from the black community. We've got to bury this man with dignity, Frank. Memorial service is Friday. And we have 3 days to find out what happened to him.
Janek. Huh? Thanks, Dan. Lugash. He did the autopsy himself. He's making the commissioner a homicide.
That the guy from the garden, Danny?
Mm-hmm. What's the story?
Car blew by blunt instrument of the second cervical, same as the commissioner. They died within an hour of each other.
And within a 10-block radius.
The little guy had a lot of wine in him. The commissioner had less than an ounce of booze in him. No drugs.
We ID the little guy yet?
Prints aren't in our files, or the FBI's.
Yeah, well, thanks, Danny.
My house is your house.
It's a raid, DeSoto, or are you fundraising?
That depends.
Should I call a lawyer?
You want to talk here or downtown, charged with parole violation?
I'm getting a haircut and talking with my friends.
Yeah, well, your friends are known felons.
Let's talk here. Going downtown gives me agita. Why don't you go read a magazine or something, Gus? May I, DeSoto? Go get some air, boys. You dropped in to talk about your hotshot friend's Goomba, Mr. Stover. You think I did him, right?
Let's just say the thought crossed my mind.
I told you he was a lot smarter than he looks, Dave.
Well, let me make it easy for you. I didn't do it. Not because I didn't want to.
So why didn't you?
Because Carmine and the rest of the mustache beats give me the word. Touch him, you end up like Joey Gallo. Not an attractive proposition. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
But I don't buy it. Then how about this? I got this from the government. Every 4 hours I got a reporter, they bust me. I'm a material witness. Little murder thing upstate. Yeah, me and Khashoggi, we raped the bracelet. But I think they had his made at Van Cleef and our pals.
Well, that's very attractive.
You wanna know where I was when your friend took the big splash? Huh? You call my parole officer, Nate Robinson. The guy even knows when I go to the bathroom. Capiche?
Nice seeing you again, Johnny. Hope nobody shoots you before the trial.
Dave phoned in, struck out with Lapone, material witness in a murder. He's wearing a bracelet.
And well, we have to check him out.
Hey! What the hell are you doing, you ignat? What do you got, rocks in your head?
Hey, let me see that.
Moron.
What's this? Take a look.
Great. Where's the leaks coming from?
I don't know. I'm gonna have a talk with our pal Brannigan. Check the ballerina that rents from those health nuts. Take all three.
Hi, I'm Detective Aaron Greenberg.
Hi, Janice Baines.
Oh, nice to see you.
Emma told me the police might want to talk to me. She called to tell me about it. She was pretty upset.
Could we speak over here?
Yeah, sure.
How long you been renting your place from Bruno and Emma?
2 years. I was with the Toronto Ballet when they invited me to join ABT. How could I pass up that one?
Sure. These people are the best. Let me ask you this. Were you home last night around midnight?
Yes, I was at home reading.
You home reading? Find that hard to believe. I figure a pretty girl like you must have every guy in town chasing after her.
You're very kind.
It's my middle name. Getting back to last night, did you happen to see or hear anything unusual down in the garden?
No, not a thing. Oh, I must be a big disappointment to you. You were hoping for a clue.
I got clues. Come on.
Well, maybe I can make it up in a small way. Do you like the ballet?
Kidding? I love it. Baryshnikov, right? The only thing is, with my line of work, the hours, etc., I just don't get a chance to go that often.
Could you go tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night? Yeah, be perfect.
I'll arrange a ticket for you at the box office. Curtains at 8.
Great, I'll be there. Thanks a lot.
I really have to get going. Is there anything else, Aaron? I hope you enjoy it.
Can't wait.
Good evening. I'm looking for Mr. Brannigan. A big man, policeman?
Follow me, please.
Thank you.
Take your shoes off, please. Take your shoes
off. Oh, yeah, nice.
Janek.
Thank you. Thanks. Hey, Jim.
How'd you find me here?
Well, your office told me where you were.
Join me?
No, thanks. No, I'm going to grab a bite at the diner.
Janek, divorced guys our age don't grab a bite at the diner. It's got loser written all over it. This a social call?
No, business. Look at those.
So? Same stuff they always pull. Their job is to sell papers, then report the news. News is the second concept. Sell papers are first.
Where the hell did those leaks come from? I mean, I just left Lou Gash an hour ago.
I don't know. We'll issue a statement tomorrow and get rid of the drug and liquor innuendos. We know Stover was clean.
Well, that still leaves room for a strange meet in the park, mugging, serial killer. That still looks bad.
Janek, I'm in charge of PR, but I can't sew the lips of every jerk who thinks he's Sherlock Holmes or who has a grudge against a black man who made it to the top.
Well, you could try. I mean, this kind of thing, it makes a mockery of everything that Stover ever stood for.
Blacks in the department have an organization. They know how to stand up for their own.
It's not about black and white. Jim, this is about a man's good name.
Baloney.
失礼いたします。Telephone for Mr. Brannigan.
Thanks. Brannigan. What? Is the chief on his way? Tell him to hold off the press until we're all there. Come on, Janek. Your problems are over. Ruggieri's people just found a suspect on that homicide in the garden. They're about to make an arrest.
What?
You heard me. Let's step on it, Janek. The car's right over here.
What do you got there?
Black Street Kid, Macho Rodriguez, Cuban extraction, male hustler. 2 priors, one for soliciting, one for possession of crack with intent to sell. Did a year on Rikers.
Drum school dropout.
Walks into a pawnbroker's near Times Square around 5 o'clock wearing a tweed suit and a gold watch that matching missing persons came over the wire.
And?
Pawnbroker was suspicious. Seen the kid around. Kid tries to hawk the watch. Owner calls us. We grab the kid.
Were you Mirandizing him?
Absolutely. Waived his rights. We checked the suit out for dry cleaning marks. Called Tiffany on the watch. Checked out. Widow just ID'd the body. Bruce Finkelstein, Park Avenue endocrinologist.
What's it got to do with Charlie Stover?
Kid had the commissioner's wallet on when we grabbed him.
2 more minutes and we're almost done, okay? Just hang on, just tell me the rest and we'll be all right. Guys, I'm not feeling too good. Look, we'll take care of you, son. Just tell us the rest. What rest? The part about how you killed the commissioner?
Now you found him standing in the pond and attacked him.
It's true, I did it. Is that what you want to hear?
You came up behind him and you hit him.
Yeah.
What did you hit him with?
A pipe.
Open and shut case.
Yeah. Jim, tell the press I'm ready to make a statement.
Tell you, Frank, let it go. They got the perp, that's it.
Were you just watching the same interrogation tape I was? That kid was jonesing.
I mean, he would have said he was Hitler to get some methadone.
They Mirandized him. He waived his rights. He copped to it. It's over.
Oh, it stinks. It just stinks. You think anybody's really going to believe that Charlie Stover was out there in the park looking for action with a male hustler?
No, but you believe that fairy tale that the kid was sleeping in a dumpster when somebody just dropped a watch, a new suit, and the commissioner's wallet on him. That kid had priors, Frank.
But not for violent crimes. Now, what if the real killer is still out there and there are more bodies laying around? We're going to look like a bunch of incompetent bigots. Railroading a black kid, slandering a black leader. What do you want? You want to see Harlem and Bed-Stuy go up in flames?
What do you want?
I want to continue the investigation.
That's what I was afraid of. Drake and Ruggieri find out about this, they'll flip their lids.
Just me and my people, huh? Nobody else.
I've got a kid in medical school. I can't afford to retire yet.
Come on, John.
You know what happens? You blow this?
A beat on the North Pole.
Instant early retirement. I can hold them off for about 24 hours, and that's it.
Thanks, John. All right, we got 24 hours.
Are you kidding? Then what? They shut us down? That's nuts. They're railroading some pathetic junkie we all know didn't do it.
Ed, we all have personal feelings about this.
What are you talking about, Gene? You think I'm making all this noise because I'm black? No, this is not about race relations. It's about what's right.
Yeah, we got 24 hours to fix it. So let's get back to work. Gene, I want you and Aaron to talk to the Finkelstein widow. Find out everything you can.
My car?
Yep. And you two guys, take Martin Stover.
Martin Stover?
Charlie's son, last known whereabouts Canada. So get in touch with the Canadian authorities and U.S. Immigration. See if we can find out what side of the border he's on. And if he's got a record on either side. And then talk to the people in Selective Service.
The draft board?
Yeah. Martin left for Canada after he had a fight with his father over Vietnam.
So how does he fit in?
He stands to inherit $500,000. And in my book, that makes him a very strong suspect.
We had a wonderful marriage. I worked as an RN to help him through medical school. We were partners in every sense of the word.
Mrs. Finkelstein, do you have any idea how he ended up in that garden?
It's so embarrassing. Now, what are people going to say?
Why didn't you report him missing until this morning?
Well, he went out and I went to bed early. I had a headache.
Do you know where he went?
Went to the hospital to make his rounds. You see, Bruce felt that we were very fortunate. And so he donated his time to Memorial. Sometimes if he had a patient in crisis, he would even spend the night there.
Did he drive downtown?
Bruce drive? No, we don't even own a car. He probably took a cab.
Did your husband know or treat Police Commissioner Charles Stover?
No, he would have told me. He always told me about his celebrity patients.
Did he have many of those?
Oh, yes. My husband is one of the... was one of the best in his field. Hi there. I'm sorry I'm late.
It was worth the wait. Hey. Nice. Someplace Charlie had here. Not what I expected at all, huh? This is very nice. Very good taste.
It should be. I paid for it. I bought Charlie out of our old apartment and the furniture. He drove a hard bargain. But you know, we lawyers, we love a deal.
Well, my wife got the house and the furniture, and I didn't get any money. She felt she was entitled to special compensation.
Janek, were you fooling around on the side?
I have a thing about fidelity.
Charlie didn't. It seems the more successful he became, the more he had to prove it to himself. Charlie wanted a student, and that's what I was for a while. I guess I was looking for a father figure. Anyway, when I decided I wanted to be treated as an equal, He just could not handle that. So I went from the apple of his eye to the bane of his existence. I just had to get out.
So how do you react to that?
Oh, the same as he always did. He said, anything that makes you happy, sweetheart. And then he started packing.
And you fought?
Fought? We did battle.
So how come you kept your law practice together?
Well, we didn't really. I mean, we just wanted people to think that we were being civilized. Besides, we shared the overhead.
Some overhead at office of yours. When Charlie took that commissioner's appointment, that must have hurt you financially.
It did. But I'll manage.
And, can I take this? Just the cover. I don't need the record.
Sure.
What do you got? Who's that?
This is Nadine Cooper.
Charlie with total devotion. Well, if Charlie Stover was going to whisper the innermost secrets of his soul...
He'd certainly whisper them into those pretty little ears.
You going where tonight?
The ballet. The ballet.
The only culture you've ever been interested in is frozen yogurt.
Who cares about culture? She's young and gorgeous.
Maybe too young?
Too young? What, are you kidding? There's no such thing as too young. Too tall, maybe. Not too young.
Well, Doctor, would you say that Dr. Finkelstein spent 1 or 2 nights here a week? On the average, that is.
I really can't be sure.
Well, could you take a guess? There must be records here someplace.
Not really. When private physicians are involved, it's usually kind of an informal thing.
Doctor, just tell me the truth. Was Dr. Finkelstein here at all last night? I don't want to have to subpoena you.
The truth?
It's what we usually like to hear.
He was never here. I signed him in and I signed him out.
Why'd you do that?
Because he was my boss. Because a guy like Finkelstein, if he liked you, could be very good for referrals to somebody that's just starting out in private practice. Besides, he said it was a personal matter.
A matter of the heart?
I'd say it was a little lower than that. Word is he was having an affair with one of the nurses.
Do you know who?
He never told me. She didn't work in this department. At least, I don't think she did.
Doctor, why didn't you come forward with this information when you heard that Dr. Finkelstein was killed?
I don't know. I guess I was thinking of Mrs. Finkelstein. I didn't want to put her through any more after everything she's been through.
Did anyone from the nursing staff call in absent today from your department?
I have no idea. Look, I've told you everything I know.
For both our sakes, Doctor, I hope you did.
The centerpiece of this fabulous collection. Thank you, Nadine. New simplicity and a new drama blended together with understated hope and power.
Hey, excuse me. Nadine Cooper?
Yeah, isn't that
Frank Janek. I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, but this looks like a real bad time. I could come back later.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's about Charlie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about Charlie. I just want to know how long you've been seeing him before his death.
A couple months. I met him at an NAACP meeting. I was crazy about him.
Excuse me for saying this, but wasn't he a little old for you?
Well, Charlie was nervous about that, but I said to him, Charlie, I was old when I was 16. I may be 20 years older than you. Listen, would you feel more comfortable if we went over there?
Yeah, I would. You sure it's all right?
No, it's okay. I have a few minutes before I go home. I've always gone out with more mature men. I miss him.
Charlie's last night. Did you see him?
Yeah, he came to my place after work.
You remember what time that was?
8 or 9.
What'd you talk about?
A couple things. He was very distracted. He said he couldn't stay. He had a meeting later. He said, your past always comes back to haunt you. It was weird.
Anything else happen?
Yeah, we had a fight over the trouble I'd been having with Paul.
Paul?
Paul Marsden. He's an ex-boyfriend who didn't want to stay ex. He kept pestering me. I didn't want Charlie to find out what kind of company I'd been keeping before I met him.
What kind of company's that?
Well, he owns a club uptown, the Moon Glow. He has one or two other occupations. Anyway, Charlie found out he was bothering me, and he hit the roof. He said he knew how to deal with that kind of trash.
Could he have gone up to see him later that night?
I don't think so. I think he would have told me. But maybe not. I mean, maybe he just wanted to come back and tell me it was all taken care of.
If he thought that Charlie was getting in the way, you think that this Marsden is capable of killing him?
Yeah, he's crazy enough. He could have done it.
Charles Stover, determined by the coroner's office. Finkelstein was cheating on his wife. He was working nurses and personnel trying to find out who the lucky girl is.
What about immigration?
Not a trace of Martin Stover entering the country.
Man, it was a long shot. If he drove across the border, they wouldn't have a record. Anything from the authorities in Quebec?
No record there, none here.
Aaron, why don't we look in on Mr. Marsden and his Moon Glow Club?
Well, let me make some copies of Stover's album. Show it around to my section.
That's a good idea.
What's going on down there? Look at this.
I'm here at City Hall, where inside angry black community leaders are demonstrating their displeasure with the arraignment, and some say erroneous charging, of a young black street person, Macho Rodriguez, with the murders of Dr. Bruce Finkelstein, a West Side doctor, and Police Commissioner Charles Stover. With us, Rodriguez's well-known attorney, Mr. Joshua Johnson. Well, how do you feel about all this, Mr. Johnson, and
Appreciate
how do you
the
intend to
work.
plead?
Not guilty. My client made his confession under duress.
Started.
He was suffering from
Demonstration in Corona.
He was arrested. If my client were white, this would not be happening. It just fits the city leadership.
I can't believe I blew the ballet.
You wouldn't have liked it anyway.
She got me a house seat, so no one wasn't there. Just want to apologize. Take me a sec.
So go ahead, Romeo.
Hi, it's me. This is for you. I'm sorry I missed your show tonight. I was going to give that to you after your performance, but we got jammed up again as usual. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings after all the trouble you went through.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome. You know, I was thinking maybe we could do it some other night. Maybe I could just take you to dinner or something. Kind of make up for tonight.
Aaron, I don't...
To tell you the truth, I was worried about you. You know, after that thing in the garden and... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. My mistake. Excuse me.
Something wrong?
Why do I do this to myself, Frank? Every single time.
Have you seen this man? You sure? Well, well, well. I haven't seen you in a long time. When you get out? Check this out. Have you seen this guy? He plays sax around, just got into town.
Seems to me if someone was to ask me, did I see some man, and that man was a brother. And if a man who asked me was a brother, wanting to know just so he could put some brother in jail, then I wouldn't say nothing to that man.
Well, if I was you, and I had a friend that was slightly confused and liked to stick his nose in other people's business, I would tell that friend to keep his opinions to himself, and that I'm just doing my job and I ain't looking to put nobody in jail. Unless that's where they belong.
Detective Hart? Look, I've been thinking about what you said this afternoon. About the subpoena and all, and... I really don't need that kind of trouble at this point in my career.
Wise decision, Doctor.
So, anyway, I did a little digging around, and I think I've got the information that you want. Her Her name is Annabelle Hummett. She is a nurse here.
What'll it be? Paul Marsden here? Who wants to know? Me. Okay? Thanks. Guy's a regular Dale Carnegie. Paul Marsden, detective, City of New York. Like to ask you a few questions?
You got a warrant?
Oh, we don't need a warrant. There are plenty of code violations in here.
So what's this about? You selling raffle tickets for the PBA?
It's about Nadine Cooper and Commissioner Stover. Ring any bells?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't think he likes us, Frank.
You know, I think your nose is running.
Hey, what is this?
Relax, folks.
I want you to put your hands against the wall and spread. Now, before I blow your brains out.
Ain't that cute?
Think he's got a permit for it?
Down it. He's already got a conviction for aggravated assault.
That's a rotten collar.
My. That's possession, my friend.
Cuff him.
Should have just said no to drugs, Pablo.
Maybe she wasn't home when I called.
Looks like somebody's home now.
No point in ringing a bell. There's nobody home.
There's a light.
Been on for 2 days.
Do you think that's odd?
Well, now that you mentioned it, it is a little strange. Annabelle always tells me when she's going away so I can take up the mail. I haven't seen DeBakey either.
Who's DeBakey?
Her dog. Named after the heart surgeon. You cops? She done something wrong?
No, it's just routine. We're gonna take a look. Door's not locked.
Anybody home? Ms. Hummett?
Now what?
Let's go in.
Police! Anybody home? I always feel like a criminal in situations like this. Annabelle! Dave, you go upstairs. I'll check down here.
secret beaver trapping industry in Queens, which is sure to inflame those animals.
Dave! Come down here! Looks like she's home after all.
Feeling better?
All right. When I saw her, it was like seeing myself lying dead on the floor. Maybe I've been doing this for too long.
You can just take it easy.
Janek! What the hell are you up to, huh?
Oh, just getting a little fresh air. Long time no see, Stan. Oh, Detective Gene Harp. This is Lieutenant Stan Pinto, Queens Homicide.
You got a hell of a nerve. You didn't notify our people you're on our turf.
YA is not obligated to notify.
And you got the Manhattan Medical Examiner here? This isn't even your borough.
What's wrong with you guys from Queens? Don't you believe in finders keepers?
Just don't get wise with me, Janek, and stay the hell off of our case.
Wrong. My case. I'm on the PC's homicide. I got citywide jurisdiction.
Damn it, Janek, what the hell is a nurse from Memorial getting croaked in a kitchen got to do with the commissioner's murder?
You learn some manners and maybe I'll have some time to explain, huh? What do you got, Dan?
Same as the doctor and the commissioner.
What about the blood on the living room floor? The woman didn't bleed.
No, she didn't.
Well, I want that tested. Also, check the blood we found around the dog's mouth. And Dan, you're not going to tell me she accidentally slipped and broke her neck here in the kitchen?
No. She was killed, and within hours of the others.
You think all of them were killed by the same person?
Odds are.
You may just make it in Vegas, Dan.
What's the connection between Hummett and the doctor and the commissioner?
How's your job, Dan? Why's mine? Remember?
Any idea what they did together?
Don't you think that's a little rude?
He means, did they go out to dinner? Where they went? Did they see friends?
They kept out of the limelight.
Did you ever meet him?
No, they were playing it real low-key. I just caught one glimpse of them.
Would you mind looking at some pictures for us, Mr. Holmes?
No, not at all. This is supposed to be the doctor?
That is the doctor.
Annabelle's friend.
He's not the one I saw visiting Annabelle.
Are you sure, Mr. Olney? I mean, you said you saw him just that once, just a quick glimpse.
Right, when he left her house 2 nights ago.
Mr. Only, you never said it was the night she died.
You didn't ask. What's the difference? She's dead.
It makes a big difference, Mr. Olney. Try to remember everything you can.
Well, it was late, which is why I went to the window when I heard that car start up down the block. It had to be Annabelle's doctor. I guess he's just trying to be discreet. People who live here work for a living. Everybody's been in bed a long time at that hour.
What time was it?
Around 2. I was watching Wings on the television. You know that old one with Gary Cooper? Boy, they don't make them like that anymore.
And you got a good look at this man?
No, sir, not that good. Look, my eyes may be fading, but this fella's balding, and he's fat. Annabelle's doctor is a big, strapping fellow with a full head of hair.
That is Annabelle's doctor. And he doesn't own a car. So the man you saw just may be Annabelle's killer. Now try to remember everything you can. Can you describe his car?
I wasn't interested in his car. He was a middle-aged man with a head of hair. 6 feet at least, and brawny. Mostly I remember he was too old for her. Well, that's it. I'm sorry I couldn't help more.
Oh, you help.
Who is it?
Margot. It's Martin.
Martin?
Martin Stover.
The prodigal son returns.
What are you doing here? It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
But I just drove in. Can Can I come up?
Do you know the police are looking for you?
You think I did it? Just buzz me in, will you? We have to talk.
I'm still half asleep. I have to get dressed. Just give me a minute.
So Marsden called his lawyer. Says he was at his club the night the commissioner got killed. Says he's got witnesses.
Well, that doesn't mean that someone he knows didn't do him a favor.
Exactly.
Now, well, Donnie at the DA's office owes us one. So see if they can't keep him on ice for one more day while we check his known associates. Anybody got any mustard? Janek.
This is Margot. Martin Stover is downstairs in the lobby of my building. What do you want me to do?
Try and stall him. Keep him there, but don't let him in. Can you do that?
I'll try.
I'm on the way.
Margot, it's late and I'm tired. Come on, let me in.
Martin, how did you get in? I didn't buzz you in.
Margot! Margot, come on! Margot!
Martin Stover, Lieutenant Janek, NYPD.
Drop the bags. The yellow one. Put your hands up. You against the wall. Just give me your reason, pal. He's clean, Frank.
You're Martin Stover, aren't you?
So Margot sicked the cops on me, huh?
Your father's been murdered. She knew we were trying to locate you.
I was in Montreal until this morning. I heard about it late last night.
Can you prove you were there until then?
Can you prove I wasn't? I was playing a gig until 2 a.m. Plenty of people saw me.
You're so innocent, pal. How come you ran?
There's something else, isn't there, huh? Something that has to do with why you live in Canada.
You guys obviously know about it, right? An old federal warrant for draft evasion. Margot tipped you, right?
As a matter of fact, she never mentioned it. So why didn't you come back here under amnesty? You know, you stand to inherit one hell of a lot of money.
I had nothing to come back for. My home is there. Look, you busted me?
I'm NYPD. We're not federal. All I'm interested in is what happened to Charlie Stover.
What do you want from me? I haven't seen my father in 17 years and didn't see him for a long time before that. I don't know anything about him or his life except what I read in the paper. And I don't want any of his money.
No personal contact between a father and his son.
I called Margot every couple of years to make sure they were still alive. She told me they got divorced a couple of years ago. Didn't surprise me. He lost interest in everything after a while. Just like he lost interest in me and my mother.
But you never talked to him, just Margot.
I had nothing to say to him.
What happened between you and your father?
When I was a little boy, my father was like a god. Tall and strong, so sure about what was right. And with a badge and gold braid to prove it. Man, he was something.
Go on.
When I was 15, all that changed. By that time, I had a mouth on me. I didn't yes him all the time. I started standing up to him when he didn't like my opinions about, the black man's problems. He wanted to make it in the white man's world, and I was full of burn, baby, burn. We fought about everything. And then one day, everything was different. I found out that he quit the cops. And he wasn't feeling good about it.
What made him quit, did he tell you?
Yeah, he told me, all right. Only he never knew he did. One night, he got juiced out of his mind. He ranted and raved about a black man that had been beaten to death by a white cop. It was hushed up. All the cops closed ranks. My father wanted to get ahead, so he went along.
Oh, he's saying his conscience got to him, so he couldn't stand the job anymore, is it?
Uh-huh. So he quit the cops. He quit my mother and started a whole new life. Married Margot, you know the rest of it.
Yeah, and you quit him.
My mother died and I left. Oh, I know he didn't kill her. But I didn't want to know him anymore. He was a tyrant and a coward, and I hated everything he stood for. I realize now that it was our war that I was running away from as much as Vietnam. But to me, it was all the same. You gonna take me downtown?
I don't think you killed your father. Sounds to me like you still love him.
I've been on the road 14 hours thinking about that. I realize now I wanted all these years for something to work out between us. For some magic that would bring us back together. But it didn't happen. And he's gone. Are you done with me?
For now, if I need a statement, I can find you. You going back up to see Margot?
No. I bothered that lady enough for one night. I'm going to find a hotel and go to sleep. It's been a long day. Later.
Yeah.
You letting him go?
Hey, he'll stick around. He didn't do it.
He didn't do it. Fine. Let's go home.
Hey, wait a minute. I know it's late, but I want you to go down to records. I want you to go back through Stover's files.
Now?
Yeah, now.
Frank, that building closed hours ago.
You'll find a way.
What am I, Sly Dini? So what am I looking for?
Names and dates. Just before Stover left the department, there was a case involving excessive force. Black man died. Was covered up. See what you can find out and who was involved.
Okay. Come on, I'll drop you off.
No, I'll grab a cab. I got some things to ask Mrs. Stover.
Oh? Fine.
It's hard to believe. Charlie participating in a cover-up?
You didn't know about anything like that?
All that took place before we got together. Charlie was probably trying to forget all about it. Do you really think it's true?
I think it might be. Well, thanks for your help. If you think of anything.
Of course. Janek, why don't I make some coffee or maybe a bite to eat?
Oh, no, thanks. No, it's late. I should be going.
Please, I'd like to have some company. Besides, I'm going to make something for myself anyway.
Well, okay. Sure. As long as you let me help.
You're on. Let's see what we have here. We have some cheese and we have spinach. We have eggs. How would you like a spinach omelet made with cheese?
Oh, sounds great. I'll do the chopping. That's one of my talents. It's fun. It's kind of like marriage without the bad parts.
You want to tell me about it?
Well, for one thing, she didn't like spinach.
Trying to Fred to get us in here. Where did he get the key?
He said he called in a favor.
I'm taking this pretty hard.
We're all taking it hard. It's why we're here. It's a serious threat to life and limb.
You hear something?
It's nothing. Keep looking.
Hold it. I think I got it.
Frank's gonna love this.
Hello, how are you? She's really a very nice person. She just couldn't take being alone so much. Finally, it got to the point where she was convinced I was seeing another woman. The more I denied it.
Oh, the more she was convinced.
Sounds like you've been there.
I know a little about that.
Now, at my age, everyone's been hooked up with the wrong person at least once. Or they're pretending to be happily married. Or dead.
Yeah. Would you like some more coffee?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Why is it when a man has his 50th birthday, that is all he can talk about?
Well, I think you start to develop a fine sense of your own mortality. Especially in my line of work. It was nice.
We should do this again soon. That way I can make something very special. Let's have our coffee in the other room.
Yeah, you are a great cook. Especially for a high-powered career person. I could get used to this very easily. And not just food.
Janek, do you find me intimidating? Some men do.
Well, you're a very smart lady. They probably just don't know if they can deal with that.
But you don't have any problems dealing with it. I mean, your mother didn't raise any dummies. You know what you have to know.
Let me tell you, every time I've tried to turn a friendship into a romantic involvement, I blow it somehow. And then what do you got? Nothing. You know, it seems to me it's easier to find a lover than it is to keep a friend.
Well, you're right. I mean, you get burned and then you back off and you live alone for a long time. And then there's no room in your life for someone else.
It depends on who that someone is.
That's true.
Or how important that someone might become.
Yeah, that's true. In my case, I think he would be very unusual.
Unusual? What way unusual?
Well, he would have to be very mature.
So far, so good. What else?
Janek, what are you interrogating me?
I'm sorry. That's what I do. But what else?
Well, he'd have to be, healthy and solvent, of course. Comfortable with himself. Independent.
I feel the same way. She should have her own life. Her own interests.
And we agree on the major issues.
So what do you think, huh? Do you think we could make it? Two seasoned veterans like us? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't attracted to you.
It's mutual.
I was out of line.
No, you weren't out of line at all. It's all so complicated.
Rotten timing.
No, your timing is just perfect. I'm feeling a little vulnerable.
Yeah. Well, then. Just friends.
Let's wait and see.
Taxi! Hey! Hey! Hey!
You as Mrs.?
No, just a friend. How do you feel?
I got a head full of potholes. I just want to keep me here for observation. A couple hours, you know.
I was worried about you, Frank. I brought you some flowers. They're from all of us.
Yeah. Thank everybody for me, but tell them I'm not dead yet.
What happened?
Some guy hit me from behind.
Who was it?
Somebody who thinks we're close to breaking the case. Just wish I know as much as he thinks I know.
Oh, you don't look half bad. But then again, you don't look half good either.
Humor's a little forced, John. What's up?
Detective Harp, would you excuse us?
Oh, Gene, thank everybody for the flowers.
Macho Rodriguez was released this morning. His lawyer's suing the city for $6 million. The mayor's screaming for scalps.
So we work in the North Pole?
You know how they operate. You made Ruggieri look bad, makes them all look like jerks. You're off the case, Frank.
Don't wait a minute, John, huh? Somebody trying to kill me last night. Until then, I was just doing my job. Now it's personal.
You're getting paranoid, Frank. The bus driver said it was a mugger. Brannigan just put out the press release this morning. You've had your 24 hours. It's over.
Did the driver actually see him?
Not really. He said it was too dark.
Well, I'm telling you, the guy who hit me was no mugger.
We're dead in the water. Your boys were caught in records last night. Sloppy, Frank.
I'm telling you, this is a big mistake.
You want to talk mistakes? What the hell are you doing? Hanging out with Charlie Stover's ex-wife. You practically spent last night with her. Drake's report said you left there about 4 o'clock this morning.
Report?
Yeah, report. He reamed me good over it, besides all the other things. You going senile?
This is ridiculous. I'm working on a case.
Don't screw around with me, will you, Frank?
John, somebody's trying to set me up.
Set you up? We're on the Titanic, and there are no lifeboats left.
You supposed to be getting out of bed?
Depends on who you ask. What'd they do with my clothes?
In the closet. Hey, those are my shoes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Frank, you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Look at you. You look terrible. Gotta stop playing chicken with the number 5 bus.
Did you get it all?
It's all here. Dan? Hiya, Danny. Want to get the commissioner out?
What's in the box?
Stove is closed.
Planning on taking him out for a walk?
What, you been smoking formaldehyde? I think I'll do the one without the tag.
I'll do it.
Be my guest. Loosen the laces.
They're loose.
This is like a weird version of Cinderella. Don't feet swell after death?
They're not two sizes. This is what I hope for. These are not Stover's shoes. Whoever killed Charlie Stover left the wrong pair of shoes at the crime scene.
Curiouser and curiouser. You were right about the blood samples from the Hummett girl's floor and the dog's mouth. They tested out AB positive, which is fairly rare. Maybe 1 in 1,000 has it. Annabelle Hummett had type O.
Just as we get the file, these two cops walk in, ask us what we're doing there. I thought they were going to bust us for the fun of it.
Did you find anything?
Get this. Just the arrest and officer's report. The rest of the file was missing.
Who is he?
Sergeant named Jack Barron. He's a captain now over at the 8-5.
Let's go see him.
I've got nothing to say to you.
It's all off the record.
Forget it, Janek. I ain't saying a word to you guys.
You don't have to say a word. All I want is a name.
It's old news. Better to let sleeping dogs lie.
These sleeping dogs killed 3 people.
Just a name, huh? That's all I'm looking for.
You IA guys, you're always looking to drag some poor SOB through the mud. I don't know any names. Like I said, it all happened a long time ago.
Look, Captain, I don't like this any better than you do. But this is big. Sooner or later, you're going to have to give it to me. I tell you what I'll do. I'll make a deal. I'll say a name, and if it's right, you don't have to say anything. How about that? So as soon as he comes in, I want you to make certain the area is clear. And I mean everybody. When you're sure, that's when you take positions.
Got a bad feeling about this, Frank. Too risky.
He's right, Frank. It's my call.
Too dangerous, Frank. I don't like you using yourself as bait.
Look, it's the only way this can work. Understood? All right. Let's go.
Frank.
Hey, Jim.
How are you? How's the head?
Oh, it's fine, fine. Lucky hit me where he couldn't hurt me. I didn't know what to order, so I just got one of everything. Is that all right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Frank. Listen. What's so important you couldn't discuss it over the phone?
Well, I just want to bounce a few things off you.
Still the Stover thing?
Yeah.
I thought you were off that.
I'm just following a couple of leads of my own.
Oh.
When Stover quit the department, it was over an incident involving the excessive use of force. Did you know about that?
Yeah, I remember there were rumors.
A black man died as a result of a beating by a cop.
Yeah.
It was all, hushed up. Charlie was ambitious, so he played along.
Just like everybody else.
But it bothered Charlie. You see, it went against his principles. Oh, he was ambitious and egotistical, but he was clean, at least up to that point. He couldn't square it with himself, so he quit the force.
Where'd you get this stuff, Frank?
Oh, picked it up, bits and pieces here and there. So, after a few years, the incident is forgotten by everybody except Charlie Stover. And when he becomes commissioner, if that guilty cop is still around, he's going to go after him.
So you think
Stover searches him out after all these years?
That's what I think. And I think he told him he wanted him off the force. Very quiet, no fuss, no muss. And by now the guy's got to be, well, near retirement age anyway.
But the guy doesn't want to go quietly. And he puts Charlie away. Is that it?
Something like that, yeah.
Between you and me, Frank? I like it. I like it a lot better than Macho Rodriguez. Except for one thing. Charlie been on the job for 3 weeks. His hands were full. Wouldn't he wait a while until he had the job under control before going after this guy?
Well, yeah, that makes sense, but there's a good reason it didn't happen that way. See, this guy is not some obscure cop on a beat somewhere. No, this guy has to be somebody that's prominent, somebody that he'd run into all the time. And every time he sees this guy, it reminds him of this cover-up he was involved in. The guy has got to go now.
Why didn't you just fire the guy?
Oh, he didn't want to destroy him. He just wanted him gone.
So they arrange a meet in the park at night so no one will see them. The guy does Charlie in, dumps him in the pond, and fixes it so it looks like Charlie was wigged out and went waiting. Not bad.
No, not bad, but that's not what happened. Now, Charlie wouldn't go to someplace dark and secluded. Private, yeah, but with lots of people around.
Like where?
Like here.
Here?
Right here.
You mean?
I mean you, Jim.
Frank, you're out of your mind.
Stover met you here instead of his office to keep the gossip down. He slipped in through the back door, said his piece, and you killed him.
You ought to see a doctor, Frank. You took a harder hit to the head than you realize.
Then you took his body out through that same back door. You put it in your car and you drove off. Oh, I almost forgot. You picked up his shoes on the way out. Why? Because no matter where the body was found, it had to have shoes. And there aren't many places a guy could get killed with his shoes off. And everyone knows you spent a lot of time here. And when you tried to put the shoes on Stover's feet, they wouldn't go on because you grabbed the wrong pair.
Janek, you're clutching at straws.
I gotta hand it to you. I'd have panicked, but you improvised brilliantly. You rolled up his pants legs, you dumped his body in the pond, you put his jacket and his shoes and his socks on the coping. I mean, why would anybody try to put shoes back on a corpse?
You finished?
No, but you weren't. At that moment, it occurred to you, what about the guy whose shoes I grabbed by mistake? So you raced back here to the restaurant.
You've got a vivid imagination.
Yeah, that's what it used to say on my report card. So you came back here and you found this little drunk, all upset because somebody had stolen his shoes. A doctor. A married doctor. And he was having dinner with his mistress in the next room. Well, he didn't drive, so when she got in a cab and left, you convinced him that he had to give you her address so your friend could return his shoes to her place. That way his wife wouldn't find out. And that was a death warrant for the doctor and for Annabelle Hummett. Did I leave anything out?
You must really be desperate. That's the most cockamamie line of nonsense I ever heard. You got that all on tape?
No, I'm not wired.
You couldn't even get yourself arrested with that story.
But it is an interesting story, isn't it?
You better arrange an appointment for yourself with Dr. Bromberg.
Well, if you're, clean, you're clean.
Nice try, Janek.
Oh, yeah. Annabelle Hummett's dog. Her dog bit her killer. We ran some tests on the blood we found around his mouth. There aren't many cops your age with AB positive blood. Of course, if you don't have any bite marks on you anywhere, you may just get away with it. It's over, Jim. Give me the gun.
Murdering.
I have a statement. I have a statement. Charles Stover represented this department at its finest, never compromising his standards or integrity, and it was in pursuit of these ideals that he tragically gave his life. His memory will serve us all as an objective to strive for. We need men like Charles Stover. The world needs men like him. He made a difference, and we will miss him.
But what about the
Yeah, just a minute. I first met Charles Stover when we were rookies together. And it was clear, even in those early days, that this was a man of special talent.
See you inside. I'll save you a seat, Frank.
I want to thank you for believing in my father even when I didn't.
Well, I'm glad it worked out.
And you're right about another thing. It seems I have some family after all.
Martin and I had a long talk. He's going to be just fine.
Good.
What about you? You okay?
I'm fine.
Thank you for coming today.
I want to pay my respects.
Why don't you come by the apartment after the service? Just a few friends.
I'd like that.